Welcome to this episode of Focus on Joplin Schools. I'm Brad Douglas, the General Manager of JETHD, and we're joined by Dr. Shane Hopper, the new principal of Joplin High School. Welcome.
Thanks, sir.
So talk about your background. You are a Joplin native, so this is kind of like coming home, right?
Sure. I was born in Neosho. Lived in Joplin up through 7th grade. My dad was a detective for the Joplin Police Department, and we moved to Carl Junction in the middle of my 7th grade year.
Yeah. Is it? Joplin's changed a lot since you left in the 7th grade. What
It
was that,
has.
88 you said?
I left here, I joined the Marines probably about 1990, I think.
Okay.
And so it's been a stretch.
Yeah. And you, last grade that you were in, was it 7th or 8th grade? That you
7th grade.
Okay. And the high school is totally different from what you remember.
It is. I mean, obviously, with the tornado, things have definitely changed. But for me, coming back to Joplin, I have a lot of memory attachments to different things. I can drive down 7th Street and see that R&M restaurant used to be in a certain spot, or just different features that I recall growing up. I go to the Schiffer-Decker Park. Everything's changed. The basketball courts are on one side, now they're on the other.
Yeah.
The rocket and the plane are gone, and those are things I have attachments for. And so initially it was just very surreal. For me, I would drive down the street and I'd think, oh yeah, that's supposed to be here or there, and it just wasn't anymore.
What did you think when you first drove into the high school when you saw it? It looks like a college campus.
To me, it is a college campus.
Yeah.
The things that we have here as far as our capabilities and possibilities are, there's no parallel anywhere in the state. I've been to lots of schools all over the state of Missouri, a lot of them in the St. Louis area, and you just don't see a campus like this. We're very fortunate to have it.
No doubt. Talk about what attracted you to the job.
Sure. Initially, I wasn't considering it. Didn't know it was an option.
Right.
My mom and my stepdad have had some health issues. My mom has heart issues, and my stepdad has dementia. And so they're kind of like the odd couple taking care of each other. And so that had been in the back of my mind. Saw the posting, thought I'd toss my hat in the ring and apply, and here we are.
And you won. You're here.
Yes.
You previously taught in the St. Louis area. Talk about your previous background with education.
Sure. I started teaching at Roosevelt High School in the city. I went to St. Louis to start my PhD at St. Louis University, and so I taught English. Ran a TV studio similar to the one that's here.
Awesome.
Just wasn't at the same level quality.
Thanks.
And left there, or became assistant principal there. Left to go be the head principal at McLaurin North High School, which is North County, St. Louis. Was there for 10 years. It was very much a suburban school. And then I went to Rittner the last 3 years. Rittner is interesting to me because it was the only school in the state of Missouri that doesn't have a majority population. And so you have a large Latino population, black and white, but nobody's at 50%. And you had a small
mix.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed being in that environment.
And when we were talking over the summer, you said you also taught television production. Talk
I
about
did.
that. Early 2000s, I think?
So what you guys do here is drastically, it's light years ahead of what I was doing.
Technology is always changing, so yeah.
Yes, my principal came to me, said, what do I know about technology? I said, everything.
Yeah.
And then I went and learned everything real quick.
Yeah.
And so, it was a great experience. We had 2 camcorders. We had some Apple products to use for computers. We didn't have a whole lot. The microphone we had was pretty raggedy.
You barely got audio out of it, huh?
we did. We just had to be very careful with it and take care of things. But, I just hope Joplin High School students and our community understand and appreciate like what we have here, all the stuff that's around us right now. You just don't see that everywhere.
No doubt. Similarities between other school districts and Joplin. What have you noticed in common?
To me, kids are kids, and teachers are teachers, and parents are parents. And so I have had people try to ask me those questions, like what's the difference between here and St. Louis, for instance. I just don't see it. You may have a different type of community. It may be more rich, more poor, whatever it might be. But to me, ultimately, everybody has those same basic desires and needs. They want a school that is producing excellent quality education and students who are looking for opportunities to be the best version of themselves.
And you kind of talked about how the facility is the best in Missouri. What's some other things unique about this high school that stand out when you went through it first time?
I think the one thing I do notice that's different here is there is this certain layer of like Southern charm
Yeah.
that you don't get in St. Louis.
Are we all nicer? Is that generally?
Well, people are nice wherever you go, but
Yeah.
there is like a cordiality level that's there,
Yeah.
and it's subtle. But I do notice it, especially since I've been away for a
Does
good
that
stretch.
translate with the kids too, and the adults and the kids, or
I think so.
that's cool.
I think that people here just are nice in general,
Yeah.
and I've not had one negative interaction with a student or a staff person,
Wow.
and everybody's been super
Knock on wood.
supportive, and
Yeah.
I think that if you show people that you care,
Yeah.
that goes a long ways.
No doubt. What do you remember from the old? Well, you didn't actually get to the high school. You left in the 7th grade. Is that right?
So I went to Joplin Schools kindergarten through 7th grade.
7th grade. Okay.
I was born in Neosho.
Okay.
We moved into Joplin. My dad was a detective for Joplin Police.
Okay.
And
JPD.
so he was with them for 25 years. I went to Emerson, Stapleton, McKinley, Irving, and Lafayette.
Right.
So a couple of those aren't open anymore.
Right. Stapleton still is.
Sure.
That's changed a lot too.
Yeah, Stapleton, I was there for 6th grade.
Okay.
And then I went to North Junior High for a semester.
Right.
And then we moved to CJ.
Awesome. One thing that you've done this year is you're trying to connect with the students on a daily basis. Talk about, you send a daily email to them. Talk about the emails.
Sure. I do a lot of things, and it's just really trying to make human connection. It's weird to say email is a way to make connection because there's that technology aspect
But
to
you
it.
got 2,000 students.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 2,200 students.
2,200. Don't forget those 200.
And and so the email is meant to be a positive type comment every single day. And so I know that there's some out there that are like, why is he doing this? Or, I've had a handful of kids send back and say unsubscribe, just trying to be funny.
Right.
But my point is that, we've had a lot of stuff that the Joplin community and high school has gone through over the last several years, and in particular the last 2 years, with some situations with students, the suicide issue over the last 2 years. To me, I do not want that to continue.
Right.
I want people to understand that that's not a viable option. I want students to understand that we love and care about them, and that we're here to help them be successful for whatever they choose to do in life.
Right.
So everything that I want to do, and I encourage, is being a positive role model to our community. And if it starts with emails, if it starts with eye contact, if it starts with handshakes, just pleasantness in general, then that's what I'm going to do.
Get that Southern charm, as you said.
Exactly.
Get it through email.
Yeah.
Another thing you did over the summer, you went house to house to talk to kids with other teachers. Talk about that project.
Sure. So we went to 908 houses this summer, and I had a short window of time. I started in July,
Right.
and so I had as many as we could. The summer before, I did 1,400 houses in my old school district
Right.
out of 1,800, and so to me, it's important. To me, schools tend to be set up as one-way asymmetrical communication sources.
Right.
We tend to contact you about negative stuff, and it's never about positives, or as
Right.
frequently as it should be. And so the whole idea is to go out into your community, see where people come from, get a better understanding of the lives of our students and the families, and also show people you're not afraid to go to their turf, go and stand on their doorstep and talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. And so to me, that's valuable. Plus, it puts me in a car with a teacher for 4 or 5 hours
There you go.
that I didn't know.
And you bought lunch.
I did. And they took advantage of that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Another thing to keep that positive, so negative isn't always going home. The teachers are writing postcards to the parents. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. So we have positive postcards we're doing. It's part of our teacher. We encourage every teacher to do that. And again, it's just trying to get more positives out there, trying to do subtle shifts of culture and climate to where Joplin is being perceived as a caring, loving place. And it's not just always negative stuff. We are going to have those negative moments. Kids going to make a mistake. You just got to hope those mistakes are small.
Right.
But when those things happen, we have to communicate that to the home and discuss that and talk about it.
Right.
But the idea is to just keep pushing positives to encourage students to really reconsider that next step or move in their life, and not do something that's going to be detrimental.
As a parent, you don't want that first interaction with the teacher to be negative, like your kid's doing this. You want to say your kid's doing something right.
The ratio, they say, is 4 to 1.
Right.
So you try to do 4 positives for every negative at the minimum.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, you can pretty much keep it fairly balanced. Sometimes that one negative can really
Cancel out the other 4. Yeah.
sink a relationship.
Yeah.
And so if you don't keep pushing that and trying to establish that positive rapport, think about the home visits.
Right.
I've had parents come up here for open houses, sporting events,
Mm-hmm.
a variety of different events, and they always bring it up.
Yeah.
I think it just makes an impression on them that you
Yeah.
actually showed that you cared. It didn't
Yeah.
cost me anything to get in a car
Yeah.
and drive over to Wall Street or Jackson or
Right.
Moffett and get out of my car and actually walk up to someone's door and hand them a sheet of paper
Yeah.
and talk to them. And I truly appreciate all those staff folks that went out with me.
So good interactions with the parents, good interactions with the teachers,
Mhm.
and the students. Any other challenges your first year? What you want to tackle?
To me, the main two things that we're looking at for our goals are developing positive school climate and culture,
Mm-hmm.
and then tackling the mental health issue that we've had. And mental health can be for adults and students.
Right.
Teaching is a hard job,
Yeah.
and we always need that pick-me-up.
Right.
And as far as students go, I've already alluded to it earlier, but
Mhm.
we have students who will cut. We have students that will make comments that they shouldn't be making.
Right.
We do have alerts on our email systems, so if a kid makes a comment that suggesting self-harm, we actually automatically know. I had one yesterday, and so
Wow.
we contacted the parent just to let them know that there's a concern and we need to look at this.
Wow. When you first came into the school, what did you see instantly that Joplin's doing right?
I think Joplin's doing a lot of things right.
Right.
First of all, I think it starts at the top. I think the district leadership is doing an excellent job just in promoting that Joplin is on the move, that we're trying to do a shift in what we're trying to put out there. It was great to join the CLC conference to establish some local rivals, and I think that's good for the community to get a chance to go out and play Webb City in football, or Neil Show tonight, for instance. But those are good things. I think the fact that we have all these items here, with Franklin Tech being on campus,
Right.
with all the great teachers that we have here, and the number of people that actually care about students, I think that's very high, and I think that puts us in a good spot to be successful.
No doubt. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Welcome
Yeah.
back to Joplin.
Yeah, I appreciate it, sir.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
For JETHD, I'm Brad Douglas.